Sometimes questions are more important than answers, says Nancy Willard. Have you ever gotten the experience or the feeling that someone just assumes they know what's going on in your life? They assume that they know the things that are bothering you. They assume that they can understand where you're coming from, and then they might tell you something or give you an answer or even send you something via text or email or on Facebook or whatever that they think is the answer to your question or is a challenge to something. And then you feel like, if this is what they're saying, this person doesn't know me at all. Now, I have to admit that I've been on the other side of that assumption as well. There are moments when I go to someone's place or when I've interacted with them in different places or I met them on the street or whatever, and there's been a part of me that has just assumed that I know what's going on in their life. And instead of asking questions about what's happening, I give answers. And this is a real temptation, especially now, because we might label someone in some kind of camp, conservative, liberal, whatever you want to label it, and then we assume that they have certain kinds of views, and then we argue or we throw stuff at them that we assume is going to be appropriate to help change their mind. But what if we totally miss what's actually going on in their life? True, we might have things to say, we might have things to share, but if we don't know what the person's going through, then how can we share the right kinds of things? It actually struck me this weekend as I was reading through the stories after Jesus rose from the dead, and there's this passage where he's on the road to Emmaus with a couple of disciples who seem to be leaving Jerusalem. They've seen Jesus crucified, they've seen him buried, they even heard the report that Jesus has been raised from the dead, but they still are leaving and they seem to be going off on their own. They don't know what's going on. It seems as though they're going back to life as normal. And on the road to Emmaus, Jesus actually shows up, and Luke tells us that Jesus kind of hides his identity. They don't know it's him, and they're talking about some stuff, and Jesus is like, "Oh, what's going on? What are you guys talking about?" And the people say, "Oh, all of the things that have been going on in Jerusalem the last little while." And Jesus simply says, "What things?" What I find truly amazing about that question is not that Jesus is asking them to fill in details that he's missed. Clearly, he knows what they are. I don't even think that it's necessarily just a simple way for him to have them talk about the stuff that they have been experiencing. I think Jesus is really curious about what things that have happened are the things that are bothering them. And then they share things with him, and then he proceeds to answer, not just in general to all of the stuff that has gone on, but specifically to what has been going on in their lives and the things that have been bothering them. And this kind of attitude is what we need more of. I mean, we know we need more of Jesus in this life. We know we need more people who are like him, who are around us. And we know, as Christians, we are called to be like Jesus. But too often, we tend to assume instead of expressing the kind of curiosity that even Jesus expresses here. After all, questions, says Nancy Willard, are more important than answers. And I think it's because questions usually lead us to places where understanding can happen, both for us and for others. So this week, I'd encourage you to ask more questions, to see where people are coming from, and to try to figure out what things are important to those who are around you. As always, if this has been useful for you, I'd encourage you to like the video, to share it with others, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll always get to see the new content as it comes out.